Welcome in. It is day 60 and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. Today we're going to get into a little bit more of a classic game. It's definitely outside of what my normal type games are that I speak of, but it's one that not only was it on my parents' shelf from back in the day, but my wife and her family loved the game for many years and they were not gamers. So it was a great entry-level game for my wife that we could play in before she really got to know these special types of games that I collected. That game is Rummikub. Rummikub is essentially just rummy, but instead of doing it with a deck of 52 cards, you've got tiles. The idea of the game is that you mix everything up. You got 4 different color tiles. They're all face down. One by one, everybody draws 13, and depending on player count, 2, 3, 4, you have your first player, and you have to do one of 2 things. You can place or you can pick up. If you pick up, you grab one at random, you add it to your group, and you're done. If you place, you have to, on your first placement, place at least 30 points worth. And you have to place this down as runs or as groups. So a group meaning, all right, I'm gonna have at least 3 of a kind, and that 3 of a kind can't share the same color. So if I want to put down 3 4s, it has to be a 4 of red, a 4 of black, a 4 of green. It can't be 2 4s of red and a green. And if I want to do a run, it has to be all the same color. So I might do a 4, 5, 6. You can do longer runs, and you can include all 4 in a group. So it could be that you're tossing in the, I believe we have orange in this game. I played a few different color combinations depending on the box that you have. But you go through this all, your game is designed as 1 all the way through 13. Now, people play a little different. My wife's family tended to do that 1 was like an ace. It counted at the start and at the end. My house rule is a 1 is a 1. It does not go after a 13, so you cannot round it like that. You play through until somebody eventually goes out. When they go out, means basically they've dropped all their tiles. Then they're finished, they get a 0, and then everybody else has to add up their tiles. This is the value of the number, plus there's a couple wilds, and those are 50-point hits. You count all your points, and once all 3 out of 4 players have crossed 100, I believe is the rule, the game ends. And that or it's first to 100. There's a few different variants. I guess it depends on how you play. My wife and I play 2-player a lot, so when we're playing, it tends to be first to 100 and you're done. Whereas I've played 4-player, and we've played games where it's, well, when somebody reaches 100, they're knocked out, or we keep playing until 3 people have hit 100, and the one that's still not 100 is good, or if everybody crosses the lowest score, or first time somebody crosses 100, game ends, lowest score wins. There's a lot of ways you can choose to play. I tend to enjoy playing it where you have to have one person cross 100 because everybody's being careful not to attack that person. So it's a timid game. I like that. So what do I think about the game? Let's jump into our 7 categories. Category 1, art. This is nothing special. The box isn't great. The tiles aren't great. It's just numbers and colors. That's it. I have nothing special to say about its art. It itself has nothing to say special about its art. The game came out at a time where it didn't have to be that fancy. It wasn't competing with a load of other games in that respect, and it succeeded, and now today it's just one of those games that most people have one in their house and they may not even realize it. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs down on art, but it survived it for a reason. It's a pretty solid game. Components. The components are pretty straightforward. You have your tiles, which are amazing. You have your trays, which are really good. They're a nice plastic in this game. I have no issue with them. I haven't seen them break or anything like that. And you have your bag, which is mediocre, but we don't even use the bag. We just end up putting everything face down, and that's how we tend to play. So thumbs up on the components. Your price. This game is not that expensive. I believe if you go to like a Target, you can get this game for somewhere in that like $30 range. It's not that bad. The boxes kind of, for some reason, shift in size, even though the pieces in size inside the box are all the same size, tile size and same number of tiles. So I don't know why some boxes are big and then other boxes like stop here instead. And you're like, man, it's 2/3 the size, but it's the exact same inside. No idea. But You end up finding this for about 30. I think you get a pretty solid game for what you're getting. I enjoy the game. I think it's a great, toss it out there with your grandparents, with your parents, with your cousins, play it with some friends. Everybody knows it easily. It's a good one. Thumbs up for me. Your difficulty, it's not difficult except for if you're dealing with pressure from family. I cannot tell you how many times that I'm playing a game and I am getting the angriest stares and grunts and like, come on, put it down, because I tend to hang on. What I'll do for my strategy is say, I'm going to keep drawing and drawing and drawing and try to get ready to drop almost all my tiles at once. Because during the game, if I drop stuff and then you drop stuff, once we've both put something out, now you can add tiles to my things. So you might have this random 13 that you just can't get anywhere on the board. You're like, I don't have a 12 of red. I don't have any other 13s. This 13's just stuck with me. And I have a bunch of 13s. Well, if I put them out, now you can just tag it on there, you got it off. But if I don't, I can really mess with people because they don't know what to do with their tiles. And then when I drop a bunch at once, it really throws everybody off. And possibly, if you can pull it off perfectly, you drop it all at once and you're done. That's not often pulled off, but a lot of times I am able to look like I have about 35 tiles in front of me, and then all of a sudden the next turn I'm down to 2, and it really throws everybody. So I think that the difficulty is only difficult in peer pressure. Overall, it's not difficult to learn. It's a really simple game, so thumbs up there. Replayability, very replayable. This is one that you can play a few times in a row. This is one that you tend to play on family retreats together a bunch. Rainy days with the spouse. It may not be one for your board game nights with your group. It may not be one that you pull out on a weekly or monthly basis, but I think it's seasonal and occasional moments where it gets hit huge. So thumbs up on the replayability. Keys to victory, as I already said, one strategy. You can do that, or you can go on the strategy of, I'm going to make sure that I never keep anything big with me. I'm going to constantly be trying to drop those. You can do I'm going to drop, I built up a bunch and I'm now going to just drop one thing per turn so I don't have to pick anything up, but I'm not going to drop it all at once. I tend to drop everything together. Some people like to say, hey, I now don't have to draw a tile for the next 7 turns because I'm going to one by one drop each thing until I see somebody's really close. So there's some keys to victory, and I don't feel like there's an obvious clear-cut route. So every one of them's legitimate. Thumbs up there. Unique. This is not unique. And the reasons being is, I already kind of referenced Rumi, which you play with a deck of 52 cards. It's the same game. It's just cards versus tiles. That's it. This isn't unique. It's very fun, and I think this feels more tangible, so it's one of the ones that kind of replaced Rummy for me. I used to be a Rummy guy. I played Rummy 500, Rummy 5000. I played a summer of Rummy 5 million. Didn't hit the number, but I think got into the 100,000s. But the point being is, I loved that game, and this game has really knocked it out for me. This is the one I play instead. But that doesn't mean that they're not the same game. It just means that one came with a deck of cards, and this one comes with a bunch of tiles. That's it. It's the only difference. Otherwise, same exact game. So, overall, what do I think? I think this is a great game. I think that it's a must-play, and I think that it should be a must-own for most households. I think that you're going to find this is a great occasional, and it's a great one to pull out depending on if somebody random shows up and you don't know what to play. I don't think that it's going to be a game that will ever be somebody's favorite, but I think it will definitely be a game that everybody will appreciate. Well, overall, that's just been my opinion, but we have been talking on day 60 about the game Rummikub, and you've been speaking to the Meeples champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in an Amazon link so you can go pick this game up for yourself if you were interested. Till then, I'll talk to you tomorrow.